Hello! What is
Hello there.
this? This is a different screen.
It has, in fact, been a while.
Just a bit. It's fine though. We've got it under control.
More or less. So, ladies and gentlemen, they, thems, and everything in between, outside of and around, welcome to tonight's episode of The Plight of Princes. Episode 73?
73, apparently.
Thank you. Episode 73. So, I won't just do a where we last left off. It has been quite a while, and it's been a note for this channel that pop has not occurred for quite a bit. This campaign is set in the setting of Faerun. The only difference being that this is a Faerun which has had both the Lost Mines of Fendelvar and Storm King's Thunder played throughout it. The characters of those two campaigns are past heroes and past player characters. This has occurred so many years after the events of the end of Storm King's Thunder. Celebration of the villain's fall was abruptly interrupted within Neverwinter, and Neverwinter was assaulted by the Gith, particularly the Gith Yankee. Several high-standing individuals, many of whom could be considered princes, were all kidnapped, stolen, or otherwise absconded with at the time. Since then, the party has been sent out by powerful individuals within this setting, who may or may not be naturally occurring characters in your Baldur's of Gating, Trez. From there, they have gone out in search of the Spires of Lakith, artifacts which have very recently been identified as wands of an elder age, due to the discussions between Barona and her cleric Runara. Furthermore, these wands siphon and attune to things nearby them and those who are nearby them. Furthering on to this, the party believes that they are sapping or causing great disruptions throughout. However, the other fair point to be raised is the honest notion that these are actions and conspiracies of Lakith, and as such, being the person who orchestrated the assault on Neverwinter is the antagonist, the enemy, and these must be reclaimed. So far, several have been reclaimed, many of which have either been destroyed or locked away, sealed in some capacity or otherwise. The party itself has developed themselves since their previous times, and I would like for those who are new to the channel to just enjoy a little bit of a round table. We'll get a very brief introduction between each character, as each one of you are your own wonderful, unique, and odd entities. The beauty, oddity, and variety of yourselves varies. There is no longer a regular bitches club within this organization. They've long since absconded. Affectionately referred to by some as the kids, as they have not yet deigned to give themselves a party name, and many of them being either the people taken care of by former adventurers of previous campaigns, or indeed children of said people. They're referred to as the kids in one form or another. So then, streamer, we'll begin with you. Kika, please introduce yourself.
Me? Oh no. I'm playing Kika, who is an Aarakocra warlock of the Fae, and she is a child, very literally a child. She did not sign up for this. She didn't ask for her parents to be heroes, and she didn't ask for them to get sucked into a war, and she didn't ask to get sucked in after them into this war. She is just trying her best. She feels like she has a lot to live up to, because her parents are heroes. She is the daughter of my characters that I have played in previous campaigns, so she feels a lot of pressure to live up to that reputation, even though everybody tells her that it's fine. She doesn't think it's fine. yeah, she is just a little bird. She's a little bird. You can see her icon in the top corner there, and she's just trying her best to help because it's the right thing to do. And also, she maybe has a lot of weird stuff going on, but to her that is normal because she has just been raised in a very magical existence. She would go to different planes for holidays, and she would go visit other nobles who would babysit her while her parents were away, and things like that. So to her, the fact that she has a Fey patron is not that bizarre, and she just considers her to be her godmother, basically, very literally a fairy godmother who looks after her, and in return, she wants to try and look after other people, including the other people of the party, even though she is, as I said before, literally a child.
Gas is muted.
Yes, we cannot hear
And
any
the
of that.
Bobby. With that said,
There we go.
and with your patron referred, we'll now move on to the other person who works alongside your patron and the only player character who is visibly present amongst us, Loyalty.
Hello, everyone. I'm currently playing Loyalty, a tiefling who, when first met by the party, was adamant that he was an elf, having a bit of a elf identity crisis. Was basically a dancer slash warlock slash bard who was currently apparently on the run from a certain thing or a certain someone, but oddly enough had a rose-tipped tail, and as you can see, looks like this. um as a result of meeting the party and through the aid of Kika, Lo is currently served by the same patron as Kika. So, in a way, you can interpret them as slightly estranged cousins in a weird way. Or is Lo adopted by Kika's family? We don't know.
The answer is yes.
So, yeah. Lo is the resident social awkward comedy relief bard, currently trying to work himself out and the current situation. And also ear wiggles, because this is far too fun.
Now then, going from one furry friend to someone who can turn into Severin. Serenus, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. So I am Serenus Stillwind, a half-elf druid. I said grew up, thought everything was going to be fine, everything was going to be dandy. Oh wait, no. My entire family is gone and my entire town got basically destroyed and I got taken in by a crazy tree man in the forest who then helped me and trained me into the druid I am. And then, unfortunately, he passed away, and I was get tasked to take his ashes to where he wished for them to be passed. And I thought, you know what? I'll just go and see what's going on in town. And then I somehow ended up in a sewer through stones, journeyed north, and now I'm here in the party. I am still trying to figure myself out, Serenus is. He's been so shut in for such a long time in the forest that, you know, the world outside, he doesn't know much of what's going on, but he's starting to understand and starting to come out of his shell and, well, so to say, out of his fur, one might say, and see what is going on in the world at large.
And he loves throwing rocks at my plant.
Yes, exactly. I love throwing stones. I am Hobo on the Rocks for a reason.
Going from rocks to metal. Wittick, would you like to introduce yourself?
See, I don't really want to do it. No.
Okay,
No,
fine. Your character is now dead. We're moving on.
All right. Anyway, I am Wittick the Reforged. I was brought under the caretaking of my previous character, which was a gnome warlock tinkerer. When the Plighted Princess had ended, basically Warforged were brought into the world as a thing. My previous character thought, oh hey, what would be the best thing to work on? A giant metal man. That looks good. And so he ended up taking one home with him, basically. After it had gained sentience. And basically, I'm a paladin of. Let's see, who am I a paladin of now? Oh yeah. So originally was a paladin of Stromus, giant god, because my original character was sorry, was made a pact originally with the Great Old One,
Definitely not
fell out a
Cthulhu.
bit, and then decided, oh hey, let me ask the Storm King if he'll be my patron. And then so he, decided I'll be a paladin of the Giants god. That'll work. And then happened to start talking to a thing called Primus or whatever, the things that happen. And so, now I'm a paladin of Primus. And I mean, pretty much, that's pretty much it.
Got a few cool new effects, a few new tricks.
May or may not be turning into an Eternal or something. I don't know. Who knows?
So,
Yeah.
sorry, folks. The connection in Faerun is absolutely awful.
It happens.
But yeah.
From one person who's trying to connect from Faerun to someone who's trying to connect from New Zealand. Nemo, please introduce your character.
New Zealand.
I thought you were. Anyway, leave it.
All right, I am playing the one known as One, although that is more of a recent development, as my go-to name was King. I was a failed lich experiment gone wrong. Well, if it was a double negative, as you do. However, as the two people who tried to make this lich sort of made the mistake, King ended up getting her own sentience, and however inherited their desire to rule, although she took it in a very different way till they did, wanting to lead the people justly and look after a group of people. It turns out she might accidentally be leading a makeshift kingdom of cultists. Barely developed kingdom, it's just a group of cultists, but she had plans to, found a kingdom and all that sort of stuff. But, things go sideways. She managed to banish the spirits of those who made her, and now she's forfeited her crown to try to circumvent a certain power shift that may have been rather disastrous. And yeah, I think that's about it.
From disaster to rising, we're going to rise through the ashes and talk about Runara. Okay, please introduce the wonderful Runara.
Okay, I'll keep it as simple as possible, like I did in session 1. Hi, I'm Runara, and I'm a human cleric. That's it. That's all I am, a human cleric. Definitely not an Asimar.
Roll a deception.
Team Normal is back.
There is no
Normal.
Team Normal!
Yeah. I'm a human cleric. That's it. No.
Do you want
I'm
me
an
to take the
Asimar.
hammer away?
I'm an Asimar Scourge cleric. Scourge Asimar like the main cleric of a dwarven goddess.
Verona.
And I'm a bit of a hero fangirl. Yeah, just a little bit. Not an autograph got in my bag. And I'm not the party healer. I'm a cleric, but I'm not the healer.
So much factual information in that intro.
Some of it's real. Some of it.
If you take half of what Kay said and invert it with lies and deceptions, you'll get the truth. Speaking of lies and deceptions and falsehoods, Posey, please introduce yourself.
That's not the name.
It's
It's
one of
A.
them.
It's one of them, yes. How the fuck do you introduce this character? So
A walking multiple
Depends on who you
personality
ask.
disorder.
You try your best.
Yep. So I play Parks, changeling horror show disguised as various people. I am a secretly a changeling blood hunter, profane soul blood hunter, whose bestie is the moon or whatever in the moon is talking to her. And they have a deep and profound friendship, which nearly led to her becoming a lord of the abyss or hell or somewhere. King circumvented that, but we're just gonna gloss straight past that. I have many people. I have many names. All of them start with P. Posey is a identity that may or may not be dead. I don't know if I can still use her. We'll find out. I'm currently using an alternate identity that she hasn't used in an incredibly long time called Prosper, who is a tiefling, a suave tiefling asshole crime lord. And Parks is here to is the root of a significant amount of problems for this play.
Points at self off camera.
No.
I mean, gestures vaguely at everyone.
I think you will all find I am the main cause of all your problems.
Yeah, but you're omniscient.
Oh god,
Speaking
there is no
of
Team Normal.
There is. It's me and Renar.
No.
Human cleric and the human warlock.
At an elven warlock.
Who might be dead.
Warlock.
So, speaking of the problems that are currently placed, we last left the party after leaving from the Harper-focused tower within the astral plane and simultaneously a focal point of teleportation.
Oh, right.
After Vlakith decided that you had enough of that utility and has, through the use of grim psychometry, disposed of every single member of the Archmages of the Harpers, bar 2. One not present, as he is very busy right now. And one, well, she succeeded, but she succeeded at step 1 and did not realize that there was a 2 through 10. As the party stepped out and away, you are within Everland still. And I believe we're mostly trying to collect yourselves given the madness that had been set afoot. Everland being where you happened to come out from this portal, within a bar that had definitely some form of mind-altering effects on those who were leaving it, to make sure that anyone who saw your group just abruptly arrive in didn't remember anyone arriving in, including Legacy, Mother of Glory, and Queen of most of Faerun, and the Sorokos, and a good chunk of Neverwinter as well. So, your party was pulled out to reinstate one of the characters present here, has informed you that they have managed to abscond with a single Githyanki ship that's been worked on. It has been taken and it has been examined, but the craft is, by definition, alien. The presentation of how it works is something that they have not been able to understand. None of you have had a chance to look at it yourselves, even those who would be considered mechanically or arcanely focused in your own capabilities are not yet drawn to it or been given permission to do so. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those in and outside of that spectrum, it is the morning. As you are all there about yourselves, just a group-wide perception check for me, please, or just let me know who has the highest passive.
I mean, we got to roll. This is like our test roll that we normally do.
Right? It's been so long. We gotta
Roll away, my darlings.
get it going.
Damn, I wish I could go. for
Wonderful,
perception.
gang! Wonderful!
That's persuasion.
Roll again, 1. Runara, shit's wild. Loyalty, shit's wild.
I'm just vibing.
We're
I'm
back!
just
No one knows what's going on.
I'm just vibing.
We're all a bunch of kids and we
good.
don't know what we're doing.
I love getting a text from family to call them the moment the session started. You can wait.
Obviously. Go mute.
I'm busy.
Tell me what my 24 perception gets me. What terrible thing do I see this time?
Oh no.
You just see it first.
Great.
There's a strong wind. It's blowing towards the east.
Cerberus, no.
Sorry. Gassy.
He's been stuck in the tower corridor the whole night, holding it in like a camel.
Sorry, he's
Trying to get rid of the smell.
It's
Contact Zero,
teleportation,
he'll
you know.
teach you how to weaponize that stuff.
It's like milk, you know, teleportation. It just upsets the stomach.
Okay, sorry.
So, moving sharply,
We've got to get it out of our system. It's been 8 months.
Oh, okay.
so moving on sharply. You look about and you see it first. It's like you can feel the wind. And it's a strong wind. Quite strong. Not to the point of like a strong wind that's like blowing in a dust storm kind of thing. But in the distance you do see a very wide, basically, essentially you go, it's like the clouds are high. Then you realize the clouds are like quite low. Then essentially you just see horizon to horizon is a black cloud moving outwards from the west to the east.
Do I get the sense that this is something behind the clouds moving?
With that perception check, it is not a... You were there in Neverwinter, so you have a concept of what this is. This is the smoke of a fallout. This is
Okay.
an explosion or some other immense effect has occurred, and this is quite
from the
literally just
west.
forced striking out.
I'll just assume, I don't remember, we were in the tavern or something. I'll assume I was up on the roof, because why wouldn't I be? And I will hop down and run back to the party and just kind of look around and be like, I think something in the west is burning.
As you say this, essentially, as they're getting down, everyone else who rolled above a 10, you begin like seeing it or feeling it. More like feeling the wind. Then you feel the heat. And there's a time where animals begin bucking and running from the likes of a stable or just in the eastward direction. As Poe comes down, Prosper in this case, comes down and in, the wind begins kicking up, and it's getting to the point where it would no longer be safe to be outside, and people begin rushing to bash, like close in the windows with the kind of points against them. It's at this point the wind screams, is the only way to describe it. And you can feel, it's quite telling is that you don't feel the actual like heat. But when you put your hands against like the walls and you put your hands against the exteriors of the building, like within, you can feel heat from the outside. And as you're there,
One is typing. Yes, one has a lot of information that she requires to share. Sorry.
Is it just the moment that anything happens, mage armor?
Mage armor.
I mean, seriously, would you
Mage
not?
armor. No,
No.
I've been playing Baldur's Gate as a sorcerer. What do you think I've been doing?
We're mages, we
No,
understand.
It's the one.
anyway,
One is
one
typing.
is typing.
Right, I am going to get back up onto the roofs and start heading
I will
towards.
give you an idea. You try to get up onto the roof, and as you do, like you try to open the door, and you are like stopped by people inside. The wind is to the point of loud and battering, where you don't think it would actually physically be safe to be
outside. Shit. Okay.
And it continues for a good 10 minutes before eventually it begins to lessen and lessen and lessen. Still a wind. You open, eventually the windows get opened when the main intensity is past, and there is motes of fire in the air, mixed with soot and gold.
My character's mixed up. We encountered the god on the adults, right?
The adults encountered Bahamut.
That was it. Yeah. Okay.
And
don't
can
know that.
confirm as well.
All the stuff with the dragons was with the adults.
Yes, correct. Speaking of, can I just confirm as well, Kaerk is with you still, correct?
Yeah, Kayak is with this group.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't be.
Just confirming. Because every feather is bristled. And it's just a stark and sharp, I can only really describe it as like a natural, like bodily impulse more than anything else, of just every fiber is on a high alert, every muscle is on a muscle twitch, and it's just looking outside. There was just a look of horror across his face.
What is it? What happened?
Make an insight check.
On my brother. Ooh, flat roll.
I am
Oh,
presuming.
god damn it.
I am presuming by Lowe's low.
No, no.
Presuming by Lowe's low perception.
I'm not asking for a roll from yourself though, but you've gotten what everyone has gotten. You just get it later. Like it took time for you to register it.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying this for flavor, basically. Lo will just, as soon as he realizes what's going on, he will awkwardly and
You're
almost
kind of
collapse.
pinned down with everyone else for now, I will say, more than anything
Yeah,
else.
okay, never mind, it's alright.
So, my first roll with Kayer, which I hope is a telling of the future, was a natural 20.
I rolled a 2.
In that moment, you just see Kayer in like this brassy kind of mist, just and Misty step outside.
Kika like
And
runs over to the nearest window
you get
that's
to
been
the door,
opened.
and you
Yeah.
you can get to like the door, or like to the nearest window, and so anyone here who's ever seen metal filings on a magnet,
Mm-hmm.
where it just begins to vump and cling to something, the red motes and the gold just to him. And it takes a considerable time, like not considerable time, but like it takes an effort, as you guys can tell from his own part, to best to say this. Essentially, he's what is the best way to say this? It's like an animal who's had like an awakening or a realization to something that it has to go and do, and rushed out to do it. Thankfully, he has immunity to fire. Because Kika, as you open the door and you do go outside, it is like there's hot ashes under your foot, to the point of like it's a hot beach, in that you can't really stay idle. It's quickly cooling because this is much closer towards winter time. Eventually this is going, but a lot of it has vumped onto him, and it's actually gone under, but not under in the way of like down beneath, like feathered point down, like to where the feathers tips would be, but as if it's going up and under scales.
Right, I get you. Yeah.
And sitting, like almost like curling almost in a moment there, pulls back up and turning to you, one of his eyes is gold and one of his eyes is red. And Prosperity, I'll do this for you because, well, you have absorbed energy from an ancient being. Looking towards this and seeing the situation, this is what that feels like. This is what that... You now have an idea of what it probably looked like to others when you absorbed Rast's energy. The only difference here being this was spread across a wide spectrum, because clearly this was an immense thing. You could see it horizon to horizon. But at this time, you're not sure where the epicenter could have been.
I let it happen. If it looks like um if it looks like he's absorbing power out there and he doesn't seem like he's being hurt necessarily.
No, he doesn't seem like he's in pain, but there's a look of like confused bewilderment, of like almost as if someone were under the effect of a spell and doesn't understand why they're doing a thing. It's to that grade, that's style, but there is no discomfort to what's going on here. But after a while, the dust and the stuff like that's basically almost like fully encompasses his face and all about him, as if quite literally has just had all the coals of a fire mixed with gold dust and red powder just flung atop him. It just begins as he extends out his wings, and his wings go probably like nearly twice the length, tip to tip, that they had previously gone in the Aarakocra form.
Mhm.
Pulls back in and is just looking towards, and there are scales on this form across the digits, across the claws, across the feet. There's essentially like where there would be, I'd almost describe it as almost like how in like birds where it tends to be a bit barer towards like the leg connecting towards the actual claws, those areas where you could tend to see skin, it's almost a mix of, it's very odd. It's a mix of gold, black, brass, which you would understand why, and red.
Hmm.
Archaeopteryx almost.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sort
say
of-
he's becoming a
yeah.
dinosaur.
Birds already are dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
That,
Good for him.
but basically like a devolvement in a good way.
Not quite. I wouldn't say
Quite.
development would be the right word.
Kika will use her trying to remember the name of the ability. Eldritch Sight, which gives her detect magic for free. To kind of see, to do that thing she does where she looks at the weave to basically be like, what is the energy flow here? Like, what is happening?
Charisma is your spellcasting modifier, correct?
Correct.
Please make a charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. 16.
Okay, so you're not blinded.
Why does this keep happening?
What you see all about you is the weave is that they're threads. It's a tapestry. Somebody has ripped that sheet and has sundered it quite significantly. It is already. It's easier to say. It's more like each individual element of it is like rubber that has just been stretched, pulled, twisted, yanked in every wrong direction. It'll probably like go back to its standard place. But right now it has just been woofed and pulled apart and torn and is quite messy. With that, you can see all around Kair, all around himself. It is just evocation, divination, abjuration, and there is a lot. There's like some small, tangible element of like a necromantic wave over him as well. And it feels more like these are like they're just like passing effects. Like the gold, for example, in the air could definitely be seen more like of divination or abjuration. The brass is not really affecting, like it's just a standard effect. The reds are like evocation, slight necromancy, and then there's like tiny ash motes of like there's almost like there's like dots of Vita black in the actual soot that you're seeing through the detect magic, which is like small, like more like residual, like secondary, tertiary byproduct of a thing, or like small doses of necromancy to it.
How far away are they from where we are?
Kair Misty stepped outside, basically like into the center of Everland's like by its gateway, basically where like this blast will come through. Because a great deal of this is coming in over, and there's like more like a shower atop than it is like a direct impact. Because Everland does have walls, but again, the wind like just swept in and under, and even then, you can imagine how strong it might have been on the outside for a lot of other things, given that you had walls between you and them. So about 30 foot from the inn you guys are in, and Kika, I'll say probably closer to 10, 15.
still unsafe for us to go outside? Does it seem?
It's Kika has gone outside,
Okay.
and basically you're having to do happy feet. You have to not because you stay stationary for too long. You begin like feeling that heat, and it's like this is going to become pain very quickly, and you have to keep moving. But it's beginning to cool, like not substantially, but like it's definitely like someone just decided to just flick the switch, and there was just one day of 30-degree heat in the middle of winter, and just all at once.
Is the window that is there? Is that are we outside? Like, can we walk out
You
yet or
can
no?
be outside, yes, you can be outside, or you can like still be looking out the windows, basically, because windows are now like they're not being. Essentially, there was that portion of like you could try to open them, but between the sheer force of the wind passing you guys and like the blast of it itself, it just you couldn't have been outside. But now like you can open it or you can go outside. But again, it's just that thing of you can go outside, but you're more like gotta keep on your toes more or less. You can. Poe, you're fine. And Renara, you're fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna pop guidance on myself and walk out and make my way towards him in the town.
I'm gonna immediately scale whatever building is largest to see if I can see nearer the wall the way it's coming from, or over it if they're tall enough.
Okay. And Serenus, did you want to do something as well?
Yes. Do I see any? Can I try and see if there's any like wood lice or anything like that on the floor at all?
Wood lice.
Wood lice, yes. Any bugs, insects, anything I see on the floor.
Oh, on the outside?
And just no, in wherever the
Okay.
room that we're in.
Nature check? Or
Blue,
yes,
you
that's
can't
nature
look
check.
confused. You've played a druid in your life.
Also, Blue, you
Yeah,
can't be
come on now.
confused. You've played your characters. Shush. Please continue. Would you like to make a perception check or a nature check?
Nature.
Go ahead. Yeah, like this place has been trying to be clean, but there's a few small bugs. Like there's a few wood lice. You can find a centipede, like a teeny tiny, like just like 1 or 2 mil long centipede, or like a little roly poly. Find something.
I like to pick up the centipede and cast a giant insect onto it.
Okay. You now have a giant centipede that is very confused. It was not that size a minute ago. It's now the size of a large dog.
I will then try it because centipedes they should be able to support the weight. I will then get on top of it so that we'll be able to go outside and not actually feel the burning on the ground.
Wait a minute. You say it's the size of a large dog. Is it mountable?
I mean, yeah.
Giant insects is a spell, so it'll say in the spell how big the creature is.
You can transform up to 10 centipedes, 3 spiders.
You've created my nightmare.
Yeah, same.
A centipede becomes a giant centipede, so it becomes a.
As if that's like an understood thing. We've all seen it.
It is a stat block. I think they're large creatures.
At the moment, I'm actually checking.
Giant centipedes are small beasts.
Small beasts. So essentially the size of a large dog.
Okay, so probably not actually big enough
I
to
will
mount.
say, if you don't want to, you can go outside, because I will say, it was more like the immediate fat is what was like dissuading people with heat. Like loyalty can go out without can stay stationary. Same with Poe. Same with Runara. You can now go out. You just have to do a little happy feat. So you can go out. You're all good to do so, and you don't need to spend your spell slot doing giant insect.
Oh, okay then.
Good idea.
It's
Not
good
right
idea.
now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
that was
any one of these people's phone.
okay. That's fine. No worries. I'll just.
I will say, I will give you some info. That nature check, I'll let you use on the outside. So,
Okay.
what I'll give you is, going outside. You've heard what has been described as a volcano's aftermath of what it does with smoke and lava and everything else, but this is the blast of a volcano's eruption, but it's there's no volcanoes regionally that are near here, they're all like past the Evermoors. They're all west of here. There's 2 of them. Like one is by Gauntled Grim, and like it went off, and then there's one in the Clothian Vale. But the one that went off that was previously by Gauntled Grim and near the Neverwinter Wood, like nearly took out Neverwinter at the time. So like there's been no immense effect like that in your recorded life, but nature has just ran, and you can go outside, like you can even see beyond the gates. Essentially, like you can move and see, and everything except the biggest of trees, like there's so many small trees that have just been washed down, like just swept from force. Like much bigger trees have withstood, but this may have done immense effect to the region. And there's this just pang in your gut of just how much damage this could have done or has done. But you don't have a true concept of the scale of how much this could have done. I will give this also to Poe. When you make your way up to the building,
Stab a knife onto the side of a building and just like look out.
You kind of don't really need to, because you may or may not kind of have sort of fiendish claws. And just because you can definitely, like, you know, parkour now with those things. So it's just like, again, most of these things are.
I could anyway.
Most of these
it's
are
just now
brick-based,
it just
so
fits
it's much
aesthetically.
easier. Yeah, now it fits aesthetically, and it looks cool. And there's just like claw marks in the soot, because most of these things are now covered in soot that has to be like dusted off, or wind will have to knock it. And you're just like clawing your way up to like a high point, like basically on top of like a chapel almost, and looking out.
Yeah.
It's the image of you like that, overlooking the scenery with a black crown upon your head. Just
the coat, the tattered coat.
Introduction,
One is there, just like, oh.
Yeah, this is where the
What do
title
I
screen
see?
drops for part 2 of Fire Princess.
I was trying to paint that picture.
So, Serenus, you just are able to tell nature has just gotten wounded, and it's this heavy pain just like sits in your chest for a minute. As that goes for you, Runara, give me a perception check. Oh, not Runara. Yeah, Runara, you're going outside as well. You can give me one,
Yeah.
but I also want one from Prosperity, please.
Nope, wrong teeth.
Wrong.
Prosper.
There we go. That's your teeth, not mine.
Hey guys, out of character. I think cloning cloth was a bad idea.
I think. Has anyone watched the Mystery Files about when that meteorite hit the Earth in like northern Russia, and it flattened all the trees for like 300 miles or something ridiculous, but because it was so far north in Siberia, no one noticed. Anyway,
You remember when that dust storm came up from the south like 3 years ago? That was weird.
There's a lot of soot in your eyes. You're thankful you're so resisting, because you feel like you're staring directly towards it. Like, Serenus, you kind of have to cover. Runara, you're like, you know, covering to the side. Prosper, you're just like dead staring, and it's like soot's getting in the face. Like, that would sting like a bitch if I didn't have resistance to this.
I'd like to after I've done my nature check, I would like to just kind of like with what I've learned, just kind of turn to people and be like, I believe the worst is over for now. I all I know is that something has really shaken this area, for really shaking it.
Fuck. I used luck and rolled the same number.
You interrupt Serenus, that's what you get.
I didn't mean to.
The fact is, folks, we're still alive in here.
Kika's like hovering around Kayak, but she sort of throws out like, it's not just disturbed like physically, but the magic is also disturbed. This was something big, but she's just like hovering around her brother. Like, she's a little afraid to touch him, but like it's that kind of like, well, I want to touch you because I want you to be okay, and I want to hug you and support you, but I'm a little worried that you're gonna freak out if I touch you.
I go over and touch it.
Do you actually?
Fuck it, I don't care.
Well, what do you think
Okay.
we're doing? That's what I was. That's what I was about to do. But that's
Okay.
why I went
Like,
outside.
hey,
I
Patty.
was going to comfort my
Everyone
cousin
take
if
your
she'd let
turn. You
me.
can touch Carrick later.
We think you're
I
still in the
I'm not
building.
I'm not touching Kayak.
Anyway,
I want to comfort my cousin.
Let's respect some personal boundaries.
I want to comfort my cousin.
Renara and Wittig, you both like check, and as you do, there's actually like a moment of static, like quite literally arcane static, almost like, or magical static, off of Carrick's person, and that almost like jolts senses as we're just like examining themselves. And there's this moment where like they're there looking at the feathers of their wings, like, you know, pulling it across and looking, and there's like almost a prismatic effect to the color of the, like, because they were a golden style look before, but it's almost like a prismatic color, but in not in the way of like how normal it would be, just like the multitude of colors. It's just those primaries of like gold and red and just the tiniest like little fades of black, in the opposite way of like how a crow is, where a crow is primarily black, but when you look at it you can see multicolors. It's like you see multicolors, and when you look really close you can see tiny bits of black.
How do you feel?
I do. Can you speak? Are you in pain? Like one nod for yes, two nods for no.
He just stood looking strong.
Like,
I'm going to start the process of casting Detect Magic as a ritual.
Okay, get ready for an intelligence saving throw when you finish.
Okay, it'll be like
God.
10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll check.
If I'm not interrupted, yeah.
I'll check you back in 13 at like what past. So, as Carrick is there, there's a moment of just again, is observing themselves, looking themselves over, and they just mutter the word strong. Angry.
what? Why? At what?
Too Monica. Come on, buddy. Also, I'm gonna give him a bonus because Wittig's next to him. Oh, thank God you have a +5 to charisma. Okay. Wittig, what's your bonus to saving throws around you?
Oh, or protection is my charisma modifier, which is a +3.
So 5 and that goes to 8 into that 24. Okay, that beats the DC 22. It's not my anger. It was theirs. And he begins like thumbing over his red eye. Him. Neverwinter.
I remember.
When I... Him.
You said, yeah.
Yeah, I did take his eye out.
You said.
There's another, though. It's... And he begins, like, holding his chest, like, kind of like... This is what the save is for. It's like an old tree which is just knotted and gnarled, and the roots are old and bitter and don't want to move.
I can see it. I can see it.
And as they're there, with the smoke still around them, with the soot in the ground, they just begin shifting, and doesn't seem like there's a great deal of a voluntary nature to this. And they just begin running outside of the city. Yes, Poe.
I'll follow because I know what that's like. And that
mean,
sucks.
You begin building hopping.
Yeah, I'll building hop. I won't I'm not trying to get involved. I'm mostly making sure no one takes advantage of his vulnerability.
I mean, Kika obviously flies after as well.
I presume aside from King, who's focusing on the ritual detect magic, everyone else has booked it.
Yeah.
King, I will say you are able to tell that your party is booking it.
If the party's booking it, I'm going to book it too. I've dropped
Understood.
the casting.
You just go, I'm fuck, and you just chase after them. And as you go,
I can imagine Lo sort of staying behind a little bit, whereas Kika and Kayak have just taken flight, and Lo is just standing there. Sees
so
one.
King just runs past, like, come on!
Just starts running.
Little shimmy. Oh, lots of people there. And you can't lean that far. Your avatar doesn't like it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that was weird.
Okay, so I don't know what weave is happening currently to Lo's avatar, because somebody can't sit the fuck still. On the far side, she's advancing too much. So, goddamn, I used an ultra ball. I couldn't catch it. So, as you go outside, there's like a half flight into a collapse. There's a half flight into like a collapse outside, and it's just like a trail of soot in the ground of like where he's like landing as he is getting bigger, but then he shifts, and it's a weird chimeric look as he begins turning. The wings are like his own, but much bigger. But he presently, I can only describe this because there is no visual, despite my efforts of looking, for what happens when a gold dragon's essence and a red dragon's essence is mixed with a brass dragon's essence. He has but they're quite short, the spindly down the side of the face, almost like whiskers of a gold, but the face is much broader and taller, and the neck is thicker, and the muscularity is like that of a red. All the while the underbelly and all the underlying colors are the brass lingering out. The wings are massive. Kaerk is no longer a young dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And by this moment of almost, that's cool, there's like this moment of, this is amazing, there's almost like but at the same time a horror as what's occurring. There's also the very real thought that this could be happening to every single dragon in Fate, including the old ones.
Kika, like, having flown to keep up with him, like, pretty much the moment she's able to, and she's surprisingly fast, she is just, like, holding the massive snoot in her hands to just try and pat and comfort it, as it literally goes from being like the size of a horse to being more the size of an actual dragon, but she's still just like patting it and just trying
essentially
to
you're like having to like reach around, but it's still like a very good example of like visual scale would probably be like in the way in Spirited Away, like trying to reach around the dragon's face, but like even then broader, bigger again. It's the scale, like again down the back there's now the frills, which are almost like these mix of like a wavy frill for water with that of a red dragon's, which are firmer or bigger and much more durable. It's just this immense shifting of scale, and as you're like trying to comfort, there's like an inhale and like an exhale from the nostrils to the side of you, and you can feel your wings on either side get blown backwards in a way you're not used to, of just, oh, that's to give you an idea of the scale. And there's this moment of movement. Kaerk's always been bigger, but there's always been this thing of like you could tell you had weight to him previously, like he had to effort you. There's nothing there. You were just up as like they're shifting and moving. And in this moment, we're gonna take a break.
Oh, cool. Ah! We'll see you later. Bye. So, we are back. We have successfully obtained beverages.
Hello there. So, the party makes their way outside, some of which are already there, consoling a shifting air. His wings and his, moreover, physical features is broader, bulkier, and it's odd where there's elements where it's almost like the portions should be the neck should be like the proportion length almost of what you would think gold dragons would be, but it's thick and broad like a red's. He looks like an uncanny valley almost of a dragon. In that, from a distance, you can look at him and he is a dragon, but when he begins moving in motion, it stops looking like a true dragon in a way, almost like chimeric. In that there's the elements of the physiologies of several mixed into one.
What does everything else look like? Is it literally like flattened? Like I as much as Pox sympathizes with what Chaot's going through, it's also like I understand that more than most things that have happened recently. So like what's does it look like a fucking nuke just went off, basically?
From this distance, no. It looks like there has just been an immense, it's almost like a hurricane went through, almost, but a hurricane that just went one direction.
So,
Just
like,
an immense
trees
volume
are
of wind.
down.
There are a lot of smaller trees are down. There's a lot of uprooting, so, earth, knotted roots, everything is just, lifted. There's water where there shouldn't be in some locations. There's water where there's no water where there should be in some locations, like some elements of the lakes are either much lower or they've been entirely emptied on smaller cases. But smaller, that's only a lake the size of not even a house in a way.
Mhm.
Like it's not even that quite big of
Yeah.
a water area.
Small red.
Ponds,
Basically,
ponds and the
Yeah.
likes, rivers,
Bigger than a puddle, smaller than a pond.
all thrown about. Kaerk is his claws are kind of almost clenched about themselves, like as if he's just straining against himself almost. And there's just a very uncomfortable shiver going down his entire back, and his legs are almost. I can only really describe it as almost a spasm, as his entire body is shifting.
Yeah, Kika's just at his head and is chirping, comforting sounds. Like they're not even really words or anything. They are just sounds and bird song almost. Very much just is with him constantly. And anything that pushes her back, she just immediately is fighting against it and is just glued to him near his head.
Just make. I tell you what. I'll say you can make this with whichever charisma basically you'd like with advantage. Just your general effect.
Intimidation.
Can I help if Kika allows?
Not really anything you can do in this. This is Akika and her brother. Her character.
I guess I'm gonna
character's
do.
brother thing.
I guess I'll do this one. 14.
With advantage.
With
That's
advantage.
kind of why I'm Poe can't or Lo can't really do that much because
It was still 14.
The thing is, you can still try.
it won't. I'm just saying, it won't affect the DCs. Just this her character and the character that her character's tied to, primarily. At present, he's in a very uncomfortable state. I'll say Lo, you can give me an intelligence check for this, and I'll say King can also give me one too. I'm just trying to give you guys something. I'll say Serenus, give a nature check. I'm just gonna let the one person who wants to help, the wizard who can do big thunk, and the person who wants to
Hasn't had
What?
it save. Whoops.
No, you're fine. So, what I will say is, the situation he is in is very uncomfortable. The only way this could improve for him right now is the location he's in, but he can't be moved. So, if you can make this area look like something closer to something he cares about, it may help him, it may like de-stress him a little bit, but this is kind of just very uncomfortable for him. As you guys are there as well, and approaching, just from behind, you just hear footsteps, and garbed in basically just tunics that could just be thrown on and just like like it's almost disjointing seeing her this low kept, but it's just the most drab, like brown tunic she could grab and just pants that she could just tie about herself. But behind you guys approaching is the Legacy, who hasn't spent enough time focusing on Prosper, but also hasn't really had like time to, because other things have been either her reincarnating or that is focusing on what's happening in front of her. And it's just like behind you guys, looking very concerned as well.
So you said it might help to make his surroundings a bit more familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to use prestidigitation to just do a somewhat pleasant scent? Because scent can be very powerful.
I will say that you can try to precipitation too. Just give us an Arcana check just for a thought of it. Anything anyone else would like to try?
I have got something in mind that I want to try, but it will. If it works, there's a good chance it won't. If it works, it might drastically change the situation.
Lo, is there anything you would like to try and add?
I had a specific idea, but then I realized that Lo is small in comparison to Georg, so that's probably not gonna work. But what I would say is, it's a combination of either the Song of Rest to try and actually use almost. Yeah, we'll go with that because it makes sense given Lo's connection with Kika, and he would know partly some of their familial connections through stories and so on. He will try and actually create a song with those references in it, sort of the little in-jokes, the familiar things.
Would anyone else like to try and add anything? Runara, Wittick, Serenus.
Because I don't have any diamond dust right now, what I'll do is I will pass guidance on Kika.
What would you be looking to do with the diamond dust?
I want to cast Great Restoration. We have diamonds. I don't have diamond dust.
Give me a religion check real quick.
I take a hammer and fix the diamond.
Nope.
I was going to say, would Wittick be able to crush a diamond?
You've got diamond
go.
tipped hands.
Wittick, because you're you and you are the associate of it, I will also say, Serenus, give me a nature check, and Wittick, give me a religion check, just for another element.
Because the thing I want to do is going to basically involve one of Kika's signature rolls to see if it works.
Unfortunately, you guys are like trying to grasp at something. Like, you feel like there might be like, it's just like there's some element in the air that you have an idea of, but you can't fully pull to fruition. And Kika?
Okay, so There's 2 spells that Kika wants to cast, but the second one depends on the first one working. And the first one is going to be arcanified, in that she is trying to slightly weave the effects of another spell into another. So essentially she's trying to cast 3 spells. The base spell that she is trying to cast is Sleep, and she is using the song that Lo is singing. She is trying to weave it into a lullaby and is trying to entwine a calm emotions into the song to get him to go to sleep. That's part 1.
Okay.
Blue, when I messaged you and said knock him the fuck out so you can use Dream, I was joking.
I haven't read your message. You actually messaged it. God damn this cluster. I genuinely haven't read your message.
It's a joke.
Yeah, but I'm a warlock, so it's a 5th level sleep.
I was going to say...
Because I have sleep on my spell list.
Yes, you're also going to have to aim this so you don't knock out your fellow party members.
Yeah. I mean, Kaek's pretty big at the moment, thankfully.
Yeah, so thankfully most of the radius can just beat him. So, it's going to be 5th level, and you're going to use Calm Emotions. Now, I don't believe you have Calm Emotions.
I don't have Calm Emotions. That's the bit that requires the Archon ability.
So, mixing them together, you're mixing 2 spells. Relatively low level, but you're casting one at a higher. One that you know. And I'm going to say... let's say... Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to use Loyalty's song as a bit of a lullaby as a foundation.
So the level of the spell, you're trying to cast, one of them is at a 5th level, and one is at a 2nd level, but must then also be treated as if it's a 5th because you're a warlock.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, because you're mixing 2 spells as well, and the scale of these now have to be thrown out at because you're a warlock, I'm going to say that the DC for this will be a 20.
Oh, Jesus, okay. Okay.
Sorry, Kay, were you going to try and say something?
Oh yeah, I definitely muted myself instead of unmuting myself. Is this something kind of guidance?
Yes, it is a skill
Right.
check.
It is a skill
Guidance.
check.
Wait, if you're, what kind of check are they doing for us?
For me, it's an Archon roll, which is a charisma-based skill that Kika does.
Let me just double check.
Enhance abilities.
So, Constitution.
Also,
strength,
it's pretty much still in the morning. If
dexterity.
you haven't quote-unquote prepped your spells yet, I'd have let you flip one.
First thing in the morning, I'm going to use everything because it's
I'm going to.
Can you get it on a short rest?
Do I see that the Kika is like starting to like produce the spell?
Yeah, her wings are out, her stars
taking her
are
time.
illuminating.
taking her
She's
time to
doing
stand and
motions
effect.
that you've seen before, which is her literally like manipulating the weave as she does this before. You've
Is
seen her do it a few
she-
times.
Is she close enough to the ground for me to touch her?
Yeah.
Then I will touch her and do enhanced ability at 5th level, and cast and give her Eagle Splendor, so the target has advantages and charisma checks.
Just to check, does it have higher effects if it's at a higher level?
At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, you can target. Oh wait, no, I'll just do it. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll just do it.
Yeah,
separately.
There you go.
Never mind.
You were
I'll just
looking
do
at
it
doing multiples or something of the case.
Yeah, no worries,
You're all
no
good,
worries.
bud. You're all good, though, Chief.
Yeah.
So
That's if you'd allow us to
Yeah.
amend spells slightly right now, can I rescind my guidance and actually cast? Doesn't do it any higher, but I want it to be a higher level, a 5th level calm emotion
okay,
to assist with what she's doing.
all right.
Cleric spells.
So we're going to begin from the very base of this, and it's going to be the precipitation, which gives the element the smell and the effect, the energy, but much less tense, of the Fandolin Manor. Because that's the closest to a home that you have had, where you've had these characters introduced to yourself of, so you induce those kind of effects. Emotions get plumped up at 5th level. And Kika, please give me a DC 20 Archon check, please. With advantage.
25.
Okay. How many extra hit points worth of a creature can you affect?
Let's find out as I cast sleep at a 5th level. Let's see what I rolled. Hopefully this is programmed incorrectly. Jesus. Those are numbers.
72.
72 hit points.
Okay. So, and what happens beneath you?
I aid the spell casting by shooting chaos. That's lowering his HP.
Just like stab him in the back of the neck, like
No!
go to sleep.
Go to sleep, go to sleep.
No!
I'm just imagining that scene with Iron Man and the Hulk. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
That's my dragon brother!
That's how you make Gregor go to bed.
I'd like to do
So
a divine smite, non-lethally.
look, I've said that before, so I'm not gonna call you out on it.
I know.
I'm that stupid motherfucker who tried to do it on a knocked out guy with a hammer. So, with this effort put into place, you do mix the spells together. However, the amount of hit points that Kairk now has exceeds the effects. So essentially, you make him drowsy.
Okay.
With the common motion put into place, and with the effect off of the 5th level common motion thrown in as well by Renara, you want him rolling low.
Come on, bro. I'm trying to help you out here.
Come
He
on.
continues to roll well.
God damn it.
Shit.
Does he at least look like he's dozing? Because if
He's
he
like-
at least looks a little on the sleepy side, she'll probably attempt
Sleepy.
She'll probably attempt part 2 anyway.
He
Because
looks like he is.
it's her brother.
I can only describe this as you just essentially induced the biggest morphine pill Faerun has ever seen.
Okay.
It might
Jealous.
just fix Curls' back.
I have
Right.
I have a
Give me that
potential
shit.
other idea.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna. Kika's gonna follow through with her plan anyway because she's already decided that's what she's gonna do. So even though he isn't fully asleep, she's gonna try to cast Dream. So maybe he gets a daydream. I don't know, but she's
Also,
literally
Lo-
doing. She's grasping at straws. So even if she
Yes.
knows the spell isn't gonna work, she's trying it anyway. Basically.
Also, Lo, I will say you have already tried to assist with this, and the dance is a continuous thing you're doing.
Okay, no worries.
So it's affecting everything. So you want to perform Dream.
Even if it doesn't work and does absolutely nothing, she tries it.
Mhm.
But my the enhanced ability will still be on you because it's concentration for up to an hour. So for all of these, it should go through, I assume.
Okay. And she's coming back. So, as you're focusing on this, just need to read through it myself to get a full grasp of what the spell is again, because I know Dream is a big.
Dream is a big one.
There's only half of it you actually need to read because the rest of it's about when you want to fucking kill someone in their sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't read into that. Kika,
Which is-
Kika can't do that. Shh, don't read into that. Shh.
No, don't read it.
That's not a thing she can do. What are you talking about?
It is one of my goals in D&D to kill someone with the dream spell.
Wow.
Mara is working on it.
She's tried a few times.
Oh, she's not trying to kill you. Anyway.
I didn't say she was.
Behave.
So,
It's for tomorrow.
tomorrow. So, let's see. To basically come into a trance area with it. All right. So here's what I'm going to propose. You're basically going into like a trance-like state with Kairk. Kairk is somewhat still lucid, but with the spell and with a willingness to knowing that it's you, reaching out to him, like tries to almost like pull towards with you. And as he does, you're like, pulled into escape, and you just begin hearing the sounds of violence, the sounds of anger, the sounds of rage. And after a while, like a wave of heat, you just feel like emotions begin washing over you. Betrayal, anger, defiance, disgust, and contempt. Things that Kika truly hasn't fully experienced. Like, has not ever fully grasped these things with. And as she's there, she can see Kair. And she can see two equivalents of Kair. One is mostly gold, with an underside shaded black. And one is red. Almost like as if someone has just literally put every color in like a model's design, just red, 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 everything, underlying scales, everything of it, to the point where there's only like hints of white, of heat between elements, and like shades of orange for fire and heat. And they're just both pulling, but they're pulling him in separate ways, both away from you, and in separate ways. He's just being pulled between these two almost perversions of himself.
Do
But
I
they're not fully formed yet.
Okay. Do I feel like the dream spell has kind of works? Because normally in a dream spell, as the caster, I'd be able to manipulate it. Do I feel like I've got stuff here?
This is the first time you've ever performed it, I'm correct. Am I correct in that? You've not had a chance to do this yet.
Yeah, I think you're right, yes.
So I'm going to say that you feel like this is understanding like what you've just done, like having an idea of what you've just done. You feel like this should be the time when you should be able to have control.
Okay. So, in this lucid dream space, he can see these two forces pulling at him, and she, again, because we're in a dream and nothing makes sense, she comes over to grab Kayak in a hug and is suddenly the same size as him. And despite what is happening around her, she just holds on to him in a big hug, and she brings her wings forward to blow away these two forces that are tearing at him, and to just surround him in this giant feathery hug.
Okay. I would like you to roll just twice with your spellcasting ability modifier. Bearing in mind you will have advantage on these.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
actually,
Yeah.
no, this will be essentially this is treating this like two arcana rolls.
Okay. Okay. So this is advantage for the first one, and then the other one I'll roll with advantage. Cool. Great. Love that. Right. Second one. That's
Okay.
better. One of them's better.
The one that failed, you were trying to push this away. You want this gone. So with that first one, you banish away the red, and it away. But the gold is still lingering. And this, as you're there with it now he's like anchoring himself down with just one of him pulling. He has a bit more of a leeway with it. And as he's there struggling to push against this one, it's not pulling him as much as the other one was, because of course he's being pulled by two. It's a lot. But this is a challenge. Like, this is a fight now. Like, previously it was like an assault. As the raging anger fights against him, I'm going to have Kayak rolling, and I'm hoping Kayak rolls as well as he has been so far.
Come on, you can do it.
Kayak is now an adult dragon. He's going to use a legendary resistance to keep that. And he manages to like pull it away to the point where it's just the fingertips are clutched about. And I want you to roll again. The DC will be much lower this time, but I want you to roll again.
Okay. 26.
And with a 4 on a fail, the other element of him is pushed away, and the fire and the anger and the flame and the heat subsides.
So
In this moment, all of his like prismatic self begins shifting towards more of his like natural tones. And for those on the outside, it's almost like if you were to heat something and you can just see the color begin to dissipate and move about it as it does, as it reflects with the heat. This is what's happening, and it's going towards more of a brassy sheen on the outside. There are still elements of the other colors, but brass is the primary.
in the dream space, she gently brings her wings back open, but she's still tightly hugging him, and her wings are just gently fanning to keep those embers away from them. But just very gentle movement.
Okay. With that, you push away the heat, you push away the elements, and after a small time, there is indeed a period of time that afterwards it just calms. And you can just feel that boop, boop, of just, you can feel his own heart beating. You can feel your own heart beating. But with him, with you, it is just a boom, 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 boom. With him, it's a boom, boom. Of, you can just feel the immensity. And all you can feel in this moment with him is just his absolute desire to be small.
And she, because it's a dream, she helps him with that. The two of them are essentially the same size.
As that's happening on the outside, you are pulled out of this as you just feel a weight on your chest, Kika, because on the outside, Kirik has shifted back to his Aarakocra form and fallen on top of her. Just into a big old pile of soot.
Our soot and feathers. Because Serenus was
I'll
standing
put
next to
that combat
Kika.
encounter over here. And
Ah!
won't use it.
Because Serenus was standing next to Kika and Lo was nearby as well, as they were both supporting her. You both can hear Kika. She's like got her face just rammed into his feathers in this hug, just like, I've got you this time. It's my turn. And then she passes the fuck out.
Kika, take a point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
You definitely pushed yourself there.
Oh, she
And
did.
Lo,
She's
Lo,
out.
I'm gonna say for the sake of it, if you want to, Lo, I'll let you like rush in, like literally do the dive on the knees, just grab them both to stop them from just like eating
Oh,
dirt.
of course. Got there before I did.
I'm gonna, as they fall, I kind of like, and I know Lo's there. I'm gonna let go of Ika as I was holding on to them for concentration, and then fall.
It's like, ooh, like this, like almost like everyone takes a collective breath of, oh, okay, oh, okay.
By the by, I think that Song of Rest applies to everyone within hearing distance of it, because I think there's additional hit
does,
points
but I
added.
think we're all on
to-
full health. because we
It's
just all
additional. It's
Temporary
additional
hit points, is it?
temporary hit
It's
points. I
temporary
think.
hit.
rested. Oh hell yeah!
We all love
So
temporary shit.
yeah.
I'll take that because I'm about to do something suboptimal.
Okay.
Wait, temporary hit points?
Hold me back. I'm
Temporary
about
hit
to do
points.
something stupid.
How many do we get?
Do give me a second, and I will get right back to you on that.
Please hold, caller.
Please hold.
Just a moment, I'm gonna put you on hold and speak to one of my colleagues.
I think it's just extra hit points you heal. So if you spend hit dice, you get an extra 1d6. But I don't think it's temp. Unless it's a separate feature that adds temp on top of it.
Beginning at second level, you can use soothing music or oration to help revitalize your wounded allies during a short rest. If you or any friendly creatures who hear your performance regain hit points by spending hit dice at the end of short rest, each of those creatures regains an extra 1d6.
So I would say that it doesn't
Yeah,
do
no.
anything here because nothing's being regained. This is
But
more
was
of
cool
a...
nonetheless.
Yes, it was cool nonetheless, and did modify some of the DCs in my head.
Thank you both for your help because it was needed.
Oh, you said you were going to do something counterproductive.
It might be. We'll see who's paying attention. Because I'm not. And by me, I mean Parks. From my kind of vantage point up on, I don't know, a building or a wall or whatever, having assessed that Chaos transformation has calmed down, I will jump down and just kind of check in on everyone, not paying attention to the fact that Legacy is 5 feet away and I currently look like Prosper. Because I forgot. So I would Parks.
Fair point to be made is...
Thankfully,
don't
I think
know if she's ever met
Legacy's.
you.
I
You
don't
don't-
know if she
You
knows.
don't know if she knows.
I sure don't. And hope she's been through a traumatic event. So
Does she know?
does
Or
she
she's just
know?
staring at you as you pass. But you have very sudden realization that it's not for the reason that you, like, out of character may have a concern. But it's definitely for the reason you have a concern in character.
I think I literally, I don't. I think for the first time in her fucking life, I think she doesn't think about it. And it's just like making sure that everyone's all right on the ground. In her way of wielding a crossbow, but is trying to.
Walk around like, you good, son? You good, son?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So, Care, calm down, and this is going on. Legacy just begins approaching party overhaul. Just looking towards you, and is just more or less like pinching her brow, but is also, it's not like a, oh, these fucking kids, it's a, what the fuck is going on, and like trying to process literally everything that's happening right now because so much has transpired in the last 12 hours for this woman.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So as she's there with yourselves, she's looking about. I would not be here right now if not for people here, but I have questions about what I missed because you have an essence, as she's pointing towards Prosper, have the literal essence of a Lord of the Abyss seeping through your veins. And the baby dragon, which barely became a younger dragon, has now fully emerged and just decided to skip about 90 years of progress and is now a full-grown adult. In addition, what the fuck came from the west? So, which of these we think is going to be the one that you can answer to me first?
I'm going to be taking a knee and bowing my head.
You are
And
covering
look-
yourself in soot.
I'm
look at
unconscious.
That's fine.
Real quick, because it's been forever we've like this. Did the adults tell the kids they were going to go kill Cloth?
That's what I'm also trying to remember.
No.
Is I don't think that was part of our
They
plan for them.
didn't.
No,
New.
they saw a mirror bar and was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like,
Right.
right, it's time to stop being a freaking bystander and go do something. And
Well,
Yeah.
you did
Also,
something.
also, I'm under a pile of feathers right now, so this is
You'll
all
be fine.
pretty much this is all you probably will be able to see.
Just a pair of hooves dangling out the bottom.
Cool. Okay, so
Um, yeah, which ones of those can we answer? Maybe
Well, I mean,
Well,
technically,
King's on
suppose
her.
we can. Yeah.
Prosper's just like fully like deer in headlights, like sorry, no, the deer in headlights of like like
No
it's just
offense
like
taken.
looking at Legacy like, oh right, you're here. Last
And this
night
is-
I was invisible and you were freshly born, so I didn't pay attention.
Also,
Um,
a fair thing to say is this is the first time anyone. Okay, for everyone around, I want an insight check. For Poe, I want one as well, and it's going to be a different DC for Poe.
Oh, for sure.
Never
do you
mind,
do you want?
I rolled a 1. Never mind, I rolled a 1.
I can also roll a one.
my
I
God.
didn't though.
Do I also make this? Because I'm on.
Yes. Make an
I'm on
insight check.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. You can make an insight check on Bended Knee.
It
That's
was
how
knocked out.
peasants have
I've blessed
survived.
myself. It's an 18.
So, what I will describe is because she is an NPC, but she rolled a 1. This is a skill check. So I actually do have to go and check her DC of this because skill checks are not automatic fails, kids.
They are in Baldur's Gate.
They are if you're
They are
pussy.
in my heart.
Spiritually, they're failures.
Here they're not.
Here,
Rule
we're all
0.
failures.
What's your
DM's word is law.
Okay. So that would be a plus with the deception check. She rolled a 1. But with her modifier added on the 6 and
At least let me insight her to know if she's gonna kill me. Come on.
okay, well she only gets 13, which I think just means Wittick doesn't fail. Or Wittick and 1 fail. Everyone else, what you see is the equivalent of and Poe, Prosper, you can't quite help this yourself, but you, with your insight check, also make a realization, like a connection of. It's like in the way that a similar animal will stare down another animal. This is what this is. It's like
Mm,
two lions that are not from the same location are staring at each other, and there's definitely like a even if there's not a fight, there's a sizing up happening mentally.
right.
Like just like this is just happening like naturally from yourself, whether or not you're like fighting it or not. But your insight check is making you realize you're doing it. Legacy's not quite there to register that she's doing this, and the rest of the party, save Wittick, Kika, who's out, and King, who's mucked in the dirt, are going, "Oh, this is a sizing up. It might not be a fight, but there's definitely like a. Could I
It's
take this?
yeah, I'll
What the
say as
fuck's in
well,
front of me?"
because obviously everyone's making inside checks. Pox has always brought hostile energy to their interactions with Legacy. I think this is maybe the first time that Legacy has put forward hostile energy in return. I think I don't even know. I think what would your instinct be? I haven't played you in forever. I think just panic goes to just like sly smile, and I'll just oh fuck shrug and be like, I've got about as much of an idea of how this happened as you do.
Make a deception check.
I was hoping you'd say that. That's that thing that I'm good at.
Yes, it is.
Non-natural.
I don't even think that's right. Oh, yes, it is.
No, it is.
Expertise? Yeah, I think it is. What do you roll, bitch? Answer me.
Let's see now if the camera will pick it up.
Is it a 1 or a 20?
It's a 20.
You'll just... Yeah. Okay. Fine.
So it's a
It's
20.
just the point where she realizes the Posey isn't here.
But it's a 20 with disadvantage because she is. It's only
Yep.
16.
Plus what?
Plus, not enough. Wisdom is not her primary stat. It's almost like her
Oh,
husband.
you
was
don't
able-
say.
It's almost like her husband, Destiny, did some dodgy shit for years and she never clocked.
Glory in the back of my head's like, mm-hmm.
Glory's got other things to worry about right now, like
Yep,
the fact that she was in the center of that blast.
Yeah, she's immune to fire damage.
Yeah, but is her wife?
No.
Great, she just watched all her friends die. Anyway,
For the second time.
Like Varys didn't plane shift them all out at the last second.
Worry about this another time. I'm about to be killed, guys. Come on.
I was
It's
about to be killed by
fine.
an entity.
I
Leave
got
it be.
Revivify. Okay.
Coming back.
You're gonna be murdered by like a newly reincarnated person. Like first thing you
Like
do, dead.
The newly reincarnated version of my previous character's mother. Yeah.
Just looks at you, just goes, "I'm back, dead."
Goodbye.
So, as this is going on, she's staring towards you and going, okay, then what did you last do before we met? Because you
Oh.
did something.
Well, we've
Because
been.
that doesn't just decide.
I helped these guys out with their little spire problem, and I'm not entirely sure I quite remember what we fought, but it was pretty bad. When it was done, here I am.
Looks towards Whittick. Did he land the killing blow?
I don't remember. Yeah.
That's why I can't turn into Posey anymore. I have to turn into various fiends because I'm part fiend now.
Right.
Which is why I look like Prosper, someone who has an arrest warrant out, which is not exactly ideal.
That's right. Okay. I remember now.
Whittick.
Yeah.
Did he land the killing blow? And what did you fight?
There are two people staring at you so intensely.
Killing blow. When you say killing blow,
Whittick.
what do you mean? Per se.
I mean, they're still alive. So.
Stop being a smartass. You know what I mean.
I'm typically smart before.
And you never will be again. That's me out of character. Legacy's not being like that.
I mean, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. It's
Make a
been a
deception
long.
check, motherfucker. It was yesterday.
I'm tempted to undercut you, would I? I might take the L for you.
Okay, with disadvantage, she has a +4, and it comes out to a 17.
Fuck it. The Prosper's already out for a rest. You can save the interrogation. Yes, I did.
What did you fight?
Some sort of devil thing.
It was a fiend,
Yeah,
not a devil.
it's all the same to me.
Well, you reeked the abyss. That's not a comment on your odor. That is a comment on what's coming off of you.
Yeah, I noticed.
One's hand is immediately on knife and focus, and I just stand up and look Legacy
Queen.
dead in the eye and say, "You do not disrespect Her Royal Highness."
Shut up.
One, we're good. We're good. Look, I'm not hankering for a fight here. We got enough going on.
I
Clearly.
immediately fall to my knee and say, "My liege."
It represses the discomfort, like visceral discomfort that Fox is like, I'm in the middle of something, I can't feel this right now.
And
Clamp
there's, like,
that
this-
shit down. I mean, I'm
But-
playing a role.
There's also the issue is that Legacy has always been confused by this little one because they were going, I'm the king, I'm the king.
It
No,
doesn't
this
make
one's the
any
king.
sense.
It's like, what are you? Whatever you killed, most things don't have a byproduct of themselves move on to someone else after they kill them. In the abyss, that's one of the that's a key element with how the lords of the abyss move around. You kill one, you stay in its level, and you basically dominate the level and it becomes yours. That's how that works. So that implies, because you guys weren't in the abyss, because none of anyone else here has the like anything, there's a smell from after where you've been. This was just more of an arcane. None of you were here, were there, which is bringing me to a very scary realization that whatever was in the abyss that could give you that effect, its last thing was here,
Yes.
because I have to talk to my father. Ew. The idea that lords tie to a bunch of things, more than just, and not just that, anything that's like above that. They all got different names, different identities, different presentations. It's never just the one of themselves. That's why a lot of these, like an avatar of a god, can be. It's not easy, but you can get rid of one. But that's just one element of that entity. There are elements like that of other things which are lesser. What you're telling me is, whatever was left of that on the mortal plane was what that was it. That was his last thing because it went and gave you energy. It's the issue is that's not meant to be possible. So I'm now looking at this going, you guys weren't anywhere else. Who did the rest of the killing?
I'll say we know.
So,
I don't think we got their name, did we?
Out of character. They weren't actually. Did they actually stick around for that fight?
Who? The hunter?
The Gith Hunter, yeah.
They
I don't
tried
think
to
they
finish you
actually-
off at the end and got
Oh
banished.
yeah. But no, we were killed grassed. That was just us.
well, out of character. Technically, it was us doing the final blow on Grass after Vlakith had went and killed the other
Right.
bits.
Yes, that's the thing I'm missing.
Because if we didn't kill him, she would have,
He would have,
and
and
she would have gotten the power.
Prosper's literally like, what was the? I looked at Widdick. What was the fucking thing that happened towards the end there? What was that? I don't actually know.
It's always the
Oh,
gift.
so,
Well,
so
because from Legacy's perspective, Prosper's just some guy.
yeah. So,
So I have to play it off like I don't know what's going on.
like Legacy. Would you have preferred us to get the final blow or Vlakith?
Pick your poison.
Just saying, because that's kind of where it, I think, might have been ending up, if I remember right.
So you're telling me the
Yes, keep up.
bitch that wiped all of my closest friends, nuked my city, stole my sons, now has the capacity to kill eternal beings.
Yes.
I need to go and speak with my father. You guys have you've methods of travel.
Well.
Well,
I actually forgot until you did that.
She
I
saw
know.
the map,
I'm
yeah.
not looking at
goes-
it.
She just
I'm
accepts
in
away.
it.
She steps away and goes, I need to go and I need to talk to people about this. Anyone that I've still got left.
where are we
And-
supposed to go?
You have more things to hunt, right?
Um, yeah, the burbs. The
Oh,
burbs need
right.
help.
Well, yeah, they should rest up, I think.
She goes to cast teleport. And as she begins to cast teleport, she pauses halfway through. Like someone who's forgotten the instruction to a method of something. Ooh, no. So, if she pauses and is focusing, I don't know how to cast teleport.
You don't.
Me neither.
No, I used to know how to cast teleport. I know I used to know how to cast teleport.
And that's not a usual problem for you, I take it.
No, not even when I've had to come back. I've had my full retinue.
Is there anything else you
So-
can't do?
She stops for a moment and she tries to cast planar transfer, plane shift. She goes through every form of spell specifically, that she can try to do. And as she does, Dimension Door, Misty Step, Plane Shift, Teleportation Circle, Gate. Every spell she tries to do fizzles to the point where she begins trying to perform it like it's an Archon effect.
I'm gonna. I shouldn't keep getting more involved in this.
As she's trying to perform an Archon effect, it abruptly stops, and she's not able to perform her Archon effects like she used to. She still has magic. She tests other things, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like cantrips, things like that.
tries cantrips. She launches a fireball into the sky.
Specifically, displacement,
Transportation.
like transportation. Yeah.
Transportation, and her Archon effect. And at this point,
What do we know about Archon stuff?
she looks like she's basically had all of her thing. Like it looks. I'll say this. With like the commotion going on, Kika, you're exhausted, but you kind of like pull your senses a little bit, and I'll let
I was gonna.
King, go on, Widdick.
I was gonna say, can I do detect magic?
You
Just-
can go ahead and do detect magic.
Oh,
King,
you
Because I have
said
it
the
as-
weave was fucked up, huh?
Yeah.
King,
I mentioned it briefly, and then everything happened.
I'm not a
King, as an
spellcaster. I can't
Archon,
know
just
anything.
make an Archon check for me, please.
you say that again, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking.
No, sorry, I meant just King can make an Archon check. Kika, you can try if you want, but it'll be a disadvantage. 'cause
Disadvantage, yeah.
I-
I'm
You were recently
I'm-
unconscious.
I'm partially conscious at the moment. I've literally been brought back around to be like, hey, magic's
I'll-
happening.
Hey, I'll come help you the moment that this legacy is
Uh.
definitely not going to kill me.
Would I be able to detect like the like the natural energy that kind of flows that's in nature due to everything that's happened?
There's a reason I'm asking the arcane-based people to make checks. I'll
Mhm.
explain why in a minute.
Okay.
Good shout, but
Then ask
it's
again.
not, it's
Ask
not
again later.
quite a nature thing right now.
Okay.
Not bad checking, but one, Wittick, you have detect magic. What I will ask is, King, I just want you to roll a d20 and make an Arcana check for me, please. And
In
Again?
chat.
Again, I already rolled one.
no, like, oh, sorry, pardon me. That was okay. That was to get something off to check something, and now I just want to see how much I'm. Basically, you've gotten over the hurdle. I want to see how you land.
Gotcha.
King, Wittick, please, can you just also just roll the d20 for me? Okay. So, you have no name for the spell that, through your detection, turning slightly towards identifications, the spell that is currently on her, it is not a curse, it cannot be dispelled, it is a perpetual thing that has now branded her arcanically. You have never encountered the spell, ergo you do not have a name to put against it. This spell has denied her the ability to use certain types of magic, and when it, as a matter of an Archon, it has entirely, like a wet blanket over a fire, snuffed her Archon effects.
She got the magpie. She got the magpie curse.
Except Black Kith went, fuck you.
Yeah.
Understood.
That's
And with that,
really bad.
So bad.
as Legacy sits there for a moment, like realizing she doesn't have the means to do this, she begins performing sending. Where are you?
You will.
I need to figure out what's going on. Where are you and everyone else? Please respond, Varys. She waits, and she waits, and she waits.
She didn't call
and
me.
there is no reply.
It's classical parent.
Yeah. You're calling my
Like,
best
I
friend, but you're
should-
not calling me.
We
Yeah,
contact the
your
most
best friend
powerful
you know
one.
is going to answer versus you.
Just because
Yeah,
I don't
like-
check my phone
You
ever.
never answer your phone, so I messaged your friend.
And-
Hey,
Busy,
hey,
I'm a
guys, can you tell
parent.
Glory to
To
me
answer her
cool.
fucking phone.
At this point, the spell fizzles. There is no response. And she just says, please no. And that's where we're going to end the session. Thank you all
They
so
get
much for
fucking
being here
hourglass
today.
again.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all here. And we'll see you all maybe next week for Plight Princes.
See you in 8 months.
What a
Bye.
what a concept.
Amen.
See you in 2024.
Bye.
Woo.
Bye.
Farewell.